So let's look at the DNA really quickly. So DNA is in the nucleus, and it is a double-stranded chain of nucleotides. So it looks like this. So, better color than that. So that and that. And these strands are made up of links or bonds of phosphate groups to the pentose sugar. That's the backbone of each of these things. That's what each of these strands are, how they're connected together. Inside here are like the rungs of a ladder. And these are where the bases link together with hydrogen bonds. And that's how the DNA stays together. So you can see this here. Here's a base linked together with a hydrogen bond. This one is a base here, linked together with a hydrogen bond. And over on next to that are the pentose sugars and the phosphate group. So you can see this is the backbone here. So these pentose sugars are made up of carbon. So other than this oxygen here, the other corners of this pentagram are going to be carbons. So one, and they're numbered. So the first carbon is here, 1 carbon, 2 carbon, 3 carbons, 4 carbons, and then this 5th carbon is out here. 5th carbon there. On this side, it's opposite because each strand runs in the opposite direction. So this strand is running in this direction, this way, and this one is running in this direction, this way. Again, even though it's inverted, it's still numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's just upside down, okay? So this phosphate group, the phosphate group here is linked onto that 5th carbon, and then the phosphate group at the bottom of this one is linked to the 3rd carbon. And then the bottom of this phosphate group to the next nucleotide is linked to the 5th carbon, and then the next one starts at the 3rd carbon here. Okay. All right. So again, they're running in opposite directions. Okay, so it's not a mirror image of itself. Okay, it is one running in one direction and the other running in the other direction. Okay, so the bases we know are adenine and guanine. Those are purines. And then we have cytosine and thymine, and those are pyrimidines. So, purines are have 2 groups, 2 sort of circular little groups with them, and the pyrimidines have 1, and that's really the main difference there. But adenine always links with thymine, and cytosine always links with guanine. This is actually a rule, and it's called Chargaff's rule. And that rule just said, this is a scientist named Chargaff who was able to show that there are about the same number of A's as there are T's in DNA and the same number of G's as there are C's in DNA. So it makes sense that C's link up with G's and A's link up with T's since they have the same number. So we need to talk about replication. So in replication, we're going to show that the DNA has to make an identical copy of itself. So I want you to look at this and try to remember about this thing where these, this is the backbone. The phosphate backbone is the outsides of the DNA. The insides are the base, and they run in opposite directions. So one of them runs 5' to 3', and the other runs 3' to 5'. Okay? And that, again, goes with where these are, which carbon is linked to. Okay? All right, so the next video we will talk about DNA replication.